I'm here in Marton and I'm at what's called Maungarupi Country Estate. So you can see it behind me, a huge sort of manor, even mansion. And this land, there was 500 acres apparently owned by William Swainson, the naturalist or botanist. At some point, 250 acres was owned by his son, William John Swainson II, or William Swainson Jr. And over the far side down the bottom, 250 acres was owned by Major William Marshall. Then William Swainson II sold his 250 to Major Marshall, and he ended up owning 500 acres again. So it stretches all the way down the flats, from up here in the hills right down to the flats to the highway. Either side, and it was really fertile, amazing land apparently. So when you first pull up, there's some gates, pretty unassuming, and then there's a nice little drive up a long driveway. And then on the left is a garden entrance, and through there's a very thick sort of tree garden area. And on the main entrance, you come up to these two beautiful big, I'm not sure what trees they are. Maybe they're Cody or something, I'm not sure, totara. And then you reveal onto this massive house, or manor, mansion-ish. The house was built in 1907 by William Swainson Marshall, Esquire, which is the son of Major William Marshall. And William Marshall Esquire, or Junior, married Elizabeth Hilda Swainson. Now, as it turns out, Major William Marshall married Mary Swainson, who was the daughter of William Swainson, the botanist. So we start to try, and we might have to investigate a bit further as to exactly who had the land in the first place. Because at some point, now William Marshall and Major William Marshall and William Swainson, the botanist, met each other, I think around 1848, down in Wellington with some skirmishes, and because Major Marshall was a sort of military man, and William Swainson was called in to help a bit, and they must have met at that point, but William Swainson was a lot older. So at some point, and a few years later, he married William Swainson's daughter, Mary Swainson. Then they ended up having 250 acres over that side, and William Swainson's eldest son, William John Swainson II, had owned this side of 250 acres. So William John Swainson had a daughter, Elizabeth Hilda Swainson, who ended up marrying Major Marshall's son, William Marshall. So they're first cousins, because Mary Swainson, who Major Marshall married, is William Swainson II's full sister, the same mum and dad. So I guess they were trying to keep the property maybe in the Swainson Marshall family completely. And so William Swainson Marshall Esquire, the junior, and Elizabeth Hilda Swainson built this mansion in 1907. And I'll show you some marks now on the wall where kids and family were marking their heights. Now we could see the first one at 1908, there's a 1910, and then 11, 1912, 13, 1943, 36, all different kids' names and everything, and it's quite unique to feel that my ancestors were the ones riding there. Even Elizabeth herself, or Marshall, William would have actually been the one to scratch in, because they were so low and small, those kids wouldn't have been able to write. There's a safe in there they would have used to pay all the workers and servants. It was big cattle country, lots of cattle here, and they made a lot of money in that period sending meat to the war. So there's railway carts where meat would be stored and then taken off to trains, and they would freeze them and send them to England during war times. So a lot of money was made here in cattle. Chess, that's from about the 1890s. Now they're not sure if it was always here or whether it just happened to be bought much later on. There's a good chance Elizabeth herself might have used that chest. So that's quite a nice feeling. And then there's a desk that the two sons, my great-great-uncles I guess, sat and learned from. They had a governess, I think, to teach them, I was told. All the trees you can see up the back there were most likely planted by William Swainson, the botanist himself. They're all different species of oak and all sorts. So they'll be 170, 180 years old. And so it was still in the family up until maybe 70s, 80s or 90s, somewhere around then, and then it got sold off. It's had a few different owners. So I got to stay the night in one of the cottage side of it. The owner, Paul, really nice man, and his wife do rent out the places if you want to stay. And he asked if I could help with the sheep this morning. 4 of them needed to be put on a trailer, and so we did that, and it felt good. One of them escaped. I had to grab it, did a huge flip off the trailer, trying to make sure it wouldn't run off because it would have been gone. And man, they're strong. So I felt like a little bit of my pioneering ancestry. Just a taste of what they would have had to deal with day in and day out. You know, it was hard times back then to work the land, cultivate it. They would have had to clear it. I imagine it would have been absolutely full. So William John Swainson II is buried just over there at Tu Totora, I think it's St. John's Church or something, and that's still owned in the family, Swainson Marshall. And then Ruku, his first wife, is buried over there in the Urupa across from Tikanga Marae, and about 3 of her daughters with William John Swainson II are buried near her. Lots of history here. Lots of history here. I got lots of chills as I turned onto this road every time I go there. Lots of chills. And then as I was walking up, lots of chills. Not sure what it means, but you know, it's just interesting to think back, you know, walking on the land that a lot of us have heard about, a man called William Swainson, the botanist, naturalist, but to walk on the grounds and touch and feel the trees that he planted and a few things like that, it's quite a unique feeling in a way. So here I am at William John Swainson II, or Junior's gravesite. It's got William John Swainson, born June 18, 1824, died September 9, 1887, and he's buried next to his wife, Emily Francis. So that was his second wife, so Ruku would have been his first. So they're both buried here at St. John's Anglican Church, just here in Marton. So if you want to come down now, there's actually 30 headstones with all Swainsons on it, all on this side of the cemetery, and also lots of Marshalls on this side, as well as Hadfield. So Bishop Hadfield was quite well known. He was the 2nd Bishop of Wellington, Octavius Hadfield. So they're all buried on this side as well. So if you get a chance, come on down, come see the old burial site of the ancestors. Okay, so these 2 headstones are John Williams Marshall, or Major Marshall, as he was known. He ended up marrying the botanist's daughter, Jane Mary Swainson. So they got married. They're both buried here. Now William John Swainson sold his 250 acres to the Major, and he gave it, I think, to his two sons, William Marshall Esquire or Junior, who's buried just there, and I think his other son, John Marshall. The John Marshall family still own their side of the land, from what I understand. So their son, William Marshall Jr., married William Swainson II's daughter, Elizabeth Hilda. So they were first cousins. Because Mary, here, Mary, is William John Swainson's full sister, same mum and dad. They kept it in the family. But anyway, burial sites of significance down here at St. Anglican Church in Marton.